Well, good morning and welcome to Travels with Bert. If you're new here, an extra welcome to you, and if you are new, please don't forget to subscribe. Today is kind of an exciting day because we're setting off on a brand new documentary series, which is going to be called Exploring Isaan. And it's called Exploring Isaan because we're going to be exploring Isaan. What's an Isaan, you're wondering? Well, it's the name given to the northeastern corner of Thailand, so named from an ancient Sanskrit word Isana, which meant in the northeast direction. So it's a pretty good name for northeastern Thailand. And to call it a corner is maybe a little bit confusing because it's a very large area. It comprises, I think it's 20 of Thailand's 78 provinces. And it's roughly the size of Florida or England and Wales combined, so it's a pretty large area. Now, this isn't going to be a quick exercise because of the size of the place. We'll probably spend a month or even 2 months in the significant provinces. Generally, Isaan is considered kind of a backward area because it's rice paddy and it's agricultural, but there are some very large and modern cities, so we'll be taking in both of those. But we'll start here. We're in a province called Nakhon Ratchasima, and from here we'll work our way across the southern part of Isaan, which basically borders Cambodia to the south. And then we'll work our way up the side, which will be along the Mekong River and with Laos on the other side. And when we work our way around the north, also Laos will be to the north of us. And the Lao and Cambodian and to some degree Vietnam influence the culture here. So it's a very varied place. We're going to find totally different cultures as we work our way around. And eventually we'll end up in Khon Kaen province, which is actually just to the north of here, but we'll be going around in a huge loop. As I mentioned, we're starting our exploration of Isaan here in Nakhon Ratchasima. But that's better known as Korat. The whole province and the city are known as Korat because actually they sit on something called the Korat Plateau. I'm going to use the name Korat because it's a heck of a lot easier to say than Nakhon Ratchasima. Today it's one of the largest cities in northeastern Thailand, but actually began as a fortified frontier town surrounded by walls and a moat. It's a place where ancient gates, Khmer temples and lively night markets all sit within the city that most travellers barely notice. Unfortunately, much of the city wall has disappeared, although we will find one or two little bits as we go around. But what does remain is there were 4 gates, and you can see one behind me here. It's called Pon Land Gate. This is one of the 4 main gates which were entrances into the city. And also the moat is still here. The moat is right there. Now, a brief history lesson will tell us that the city was founded by King Narai the Great in 1656, and he wanted it to be a walled city so that it was a defense against invading Laotians or Cambodians or Vietnamese or whoever. Well, now, you all look like you need some exercise, so I think what we're going to do is we'll take a closer look at the gate here and the moat over there, and we'll go straight across the city to the gate on the other side. I believe it's about 2 kilometers, so that's a good bit of exercise. And you're probably thinking, why, Paul, that looks interesting up there. Why don't we go take a look? Well, trust me, it's just an empty wooden box. Nothing interesting at all up there. Right, let's start walking across the city. This looks interesting. This is actually a monument to King Narai the Great, who I mentioned earlier, and he was the king of the Ayutthaya kingdom from 1656, I think, to 1688, something like that. And behind there is Wat Phra Narai Maharat. Let's have a quick look. place is actually built on the top of an ancient Khmer temple, and about all of it remains is here. These are the steps leading down to the other temple. And of course, every city has to have a city pillar shrine. This one's quite handsome, so I think it must mean right now we're in the center of the old city. Well, it looks like the old city has a little bit of everything. We better go check that out. Finally, we've arrived at the other side of the city at Pratu Chumpon, or Chumpon Gate. It's actually the only one of the four that's 100% intact. Local visitors consider this to be a sacred place, and they come here in the hope of gaining good luck. In fact, there's a belief that if you pass through the gate just once, you will return to Korat soon. If you pass through twice, you will remain in Korat, and 3 times, you will meet someone who will become your partner. Well, I'm in trouble because I've gone under it about 10 times so far. This is the Tao Suranari Monument. Her name is actually a royal title, but she was better known as Lady Moore or Grandma Moore. She became something of a heroine in 1826 when, after the city had been captured by Laotian forces and the inhabitants were being taken back to Laos, she managed to arrange their escape. Now at this point I'll let you vote in the comments, because there's different stories here as to what actually happened. I have a favourite, so you can tell me which is yours. So she either managed to get the invading forces drunk, or she persuaded the Lao soldiers to rebel, or when the women were ordered to cook, she demanded knives, which were then given to the captured men, who of course did the obvious thing. And I like the getting the Lao soldiers drunk story, so what about you? Okay, and now I suppose you want me to show the other 2 gates. So this one is called Victory Gate. I think it's equally as impressive as the others, but not quite as original. Steps. I guess we'd better go up, find out what's up there. Well, I guess the answer is not much up here, but at least we have a good view of the moat. So on the way to gate number 4, we have to pass Wat Payap Pra Aram Luang. So we better stick our noses in there to see what's special. The fact that it has the word Luang in the name means that it's a royal temple, so I'm expecting it's probably something a bit special. Okay, let's see if we can go find gate number 4. Well, I'm afraid gate number 4 is a bit of an anticlimax. It looks kind of modern with some fairly modern brickwork. But no matter, I think we've had a really good visit to Korat Old City. There's some fascinating things here. Some of the temples are really spectacular, and the gates, I think the really old gates, they're very interesting to look at. But Korat City is much bigger than the old city. So in the next video, we're going to take a look at what's outside the old city, but more or less inside the city in general. So don't forget to join us for that, and make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. So you all can go back to doing whatever it is you do, where I'm going to have to walk a couple of kilometers back across the city to find Bert. So for now, I'll say it's goodbye from him, and it's goodbye from me. Goodbye!